I am Shreyas and this is my companion.
Sanjay.
We are representing Kalpataru Central School and today we are here to give a presentation on the topic Save the Forest, Save the Earth.
To begin with, let us know what basically a forest is. A forest is a complex ecosystem consisting mainly of trees that buffer the earth and support myriad of them. It can also be considered as a large tract of land covered with trees and underbrush.
Now we can consider the forest into two types. They can be subdivided into two types. That is natural forest and plantations. So what are plantations? Plantations are basically considered as artificial forests wherein the humans have planted the forest. But the natural forests are those which have grown naturally and they are home to indigenous trees and indigenous people. Now let us know what are the importance of forests.
Forests provide essential resources, are a haven of biodiversity, provide food security and nutrition, clean air, protect us from natural disasters, help generate rainfall, produce life-saving medicine.
So forests provide essential resources. They provide resources like firewood and many other woods which we use in our daily life. They are mainly available from forests. And oxygen is also one of the important resources for the mankind. And this oxygen is provided by the forest itself. They are a heaven of biodiversity. That is, the 80% of the world's biodiversity exists in the forests. They provide food security and nutrition. We obtain food and nutrition from trees and plants, and the trees or plants are mainly composing the forests. As we already spoke about oxygen, they clean the air. So how is air purified and how is oxygen purified in the atmosphere? It is purified with the help of the trees. They protect us from natural disasters. They protect us from disasters like flood and soil erosion. Normally the top layer of the soil is eroded and this is prevented. And this can be prevented, the soil erosion can be prevented with more of afforestation. They help to generate rainfall by stopping clouds at particular places. They produce life-saving medicines. We already learned that the forests they provide us with essential resources and life-saving medicines are also some of those essential resources.
Main causes of forest depletion: overpopulation, forest fire, infrastructure expansion, agriculture expansion and land deformation acts, clearing of forest land for extracting minerals and mining.
So, how is overpopulation a cause for forest depletion? As the population is increased, we are in need of more of commercial land and agricultural land. For us, we are clearing forests. Then forest fire. Friction between two trees can cause forest fire, and in some other places to clear forest land, people intentionally put fire on the forest. That is forest fire. Infrastructure expansion, as we spoke about overpopulation, just like that. As the population has increased, we are in need of more and more infrastructure. For that we need land. For that purpose, we are clearing forests. Agricultural expansion and land reformation acts. For the purpose of agricultural land, we clear forests. And there are some land reformation acts which convert the agricultural land, which convert the forest land into commercial land, and hence the forest is depleted. Clearing the forest land for extracting minerals and mines, and for the purpose of mining. As the population has increased, there is more need of minerals and precious metals like gold, silver, and all. For that, forest lands are being cleared and minerals are being extracted.
Effects of forest depletion: greenhouse gas emission, soil erosion, biodiversity losses, floods, destruction of homelands and of indigenous people.
So greenhouse gas emission becomes increased when there are less trees and there are less trees in the atmosphere. Soil erosion. We already spoke about soil erosion in the first slide. The top layer of the soil gets eroded when there are no trees. But when the trees are there, they hold the soil thick. They hold the soil properly. So when the forest is depleted, soil erosion occurs happen. Then the biodiversity is lost because most of the biodiversity is present in the forest. Floods. We already spoke that forests prevent many of the natural disasters, and one of them is destruction of homeland of indigenous people. The indigenous people, they normally live in the forest, and when this forest is being depleted, the homeland of indigenous people is lost. They will have to come out of the natural habitat, which becomes pretty difficult for them.
Avoid large-scale commercial forestation. Popularize alternatives for fuel, wood, and wood-based products like biogas, solar cookers. Afforestation or reforestation. Control over forest fires. Impose ban on land reform measures that convert forest land into commercial land.
So, how to conserve the forest land? Avoid large-scale commercial deforestation. So, we should try to avoid large-scale deforestation as much as possible, especially for commercial purposes. Next, we have to popularize alternatives for fuel wood and wood-based products like biogas, solar cookers. So, there is a lot of requirement of food in our daily life, and we have to minimize that usage. So, how to minimize the usage? We have to popularize the alternatives of fuel wood like solar cookers and biogas, which have become quite popular. We have to popularize those kinds of alternatives. Next, afforestation or reforestation. So it is obvious that for the human, consumption of food is very important, and we have to use wood. So for using wood, we have to cut down the trees. If one tree is cut down and we plant some more trees, there is a balance of the forest land. So we have to reforestation and afforestation has to be promoted. Control over forest fire. We have to try to avoid as much of artificial forest fire as possible. We should not, put a fire on the forest. We have to try to avoid it. Impose ban on land reformation measures that convert forest land into commercial land. We already spoke about the land reform measures which convert the forest land into agricultural and commercial land. We have to try to avoid it as much as possible. So now, to conclude, what do we conclude from this? Despite the dependence on forests, we are still allowing them to disappear. Loss of forest resources transcends natural boundaries and affects the entire planet. So we already learned that how the humans are dependent on forests. So we are dependent on forests and we need them for our survival. But still, we are cutting down the forest and we are allowing them to disappear. So what do we conclude from this? Conservation of forest resources can only be done by cooperative efforts by the government, non-government organizations and the public through a proper management system. So it's not this forest conservation cannot be done overnight by a single person. It's a collective effort, and each and every person in this universe has to give his hand up for the conservation of the forest.